Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 9th of March. So, Draghi was rather boring yesterday to say the least in his speech, and we didn't really get the market set alight with what was said. It is pretty much much of the same. We are stuck here on the pound. The euro sold off. Consequently, we've also seen some positive data coming out through the evening session where the looks like the North Koreans and the Americans agreed to meet. So it currently looks quite sort of rosy out there for a moment, at least, apart from the trade wars that are sitting in the background, of course. However, we are in that situation now where we're looking at the euro. It's sold off through the Asian session mostly, and this morning it's sold off. It's consolidated through the last 8 hours or so. Through the US session it closed and was still selling off through. Now there is a bit of divergence on this 60-minute time frame here. We do have a daily pivot above, so there's always that potential to run towards that. Maybe it's been overdone a little bit in terms of the sell-off, but we'll see how it runs this morning. The 60.21 could be the heartbreaker for the pivot. We'll see, as I said, if it does start pushing up. I'd watch those 21s first. Anyway, it's not very many pips to them. Maybe on the short term there may be some points to be made from it, but the daily pivot has potential as ever. But if it fails at the 60.21, starts rolling over, I can almost see, I can draw a trend line already in terms of expectation there. Let's just pop that on there. It's going to probably be the wrong colour, but we'll give it a go. There we go. It is the wrong one, but it will do. It's against a live candle at the moment, so do bear with me. But any break of that sort of level, I would expect it then to sell off some more. But as I said, there's some divergence in that in the last hours there. It's just whether or not it can break the 60.21 there. So the pound, it too eased off quite a bit. The trend line, this key trend line that sits at the lows here, is in risk of being breached. I had another one actually breached yesterday on the shorter time frames maybe, but it has sold off somewhat yesterday. It's looking like it's sort of found just a continual reaction to that monthly pivot. However, this morning, as we know in these mornings, they can sort of give us a little bit of upside surprise. It broke yesterday ago. That was a more important trend line I was looking at in the short term. Certainly solid sell from that, but it's whether it gets back again towards that daily pivot. Now, looking positive at the moment. Short term, it's probably looking quite rosy, but just depends on how it reacts to this 21 and if it gets to the pivot itself. I do wonder again, and there's quite a nice once again. I'm looking if it starts rolling over. I think it's going to be a harder buy at the moment to what's going on. So maybe it may give, as I say, both of these may give short-term little entries, but on the shorter time entries, but on the lower time frames. But at the moment, I would almost be more keen to be selling probably through into the pivots if they give me some reversals at that point. But otherwise, if they break this trend line, I'll be looking to sell from that point. Okay, that's the pound. Dollar yen. Now, dollar yen has some pivots expiring at 107 today, and just like yesterday where we saw the consolidation. Look at that little tiny bar yesterday. It stayed there for hours. It was a big pivot expiry. We got same again at 107 today, and it moved up towards it. I think it's 2.9 billion or more, maybe even more sitting there. So there's a lot of money sitting around that, and if it does break through it and start pushing up, I think it will just come back towards it anyway. So just watch for that. Maybe a quite old day on the yen. Moving on to the Aussie dollar, up until 3 o'clock. That is, of course, when they expire. Okay, Aussie dollar, I really do need to extend this trend line coming through here. You can see why, because it's just run into it, or just run short of it by the looks of it. It's just maybe air kissed it there, which is not common. So selling into that point there, it's become a little bit stronger, I guess, and people are selling into it. But again, it's just having a little rally here. there's a bigger trend line across these 4 hourlies that could be drawn, and certainly in the short term there's the hourly sort of trend line. And again, but this is a little bit more advanced. It's gone through 21s, etc. Maybe it'll break through. And if it starts breaking through the 50, the other side there, well then it'll be a bit more of a bullish opportunity back towards those highs there, certainly towards the R1. But we'll see how it's all really dependent on the first part of the morning, of course, as ever with these when you're doing this outlook. As we saw yesterday, it changed quite quickly. It broke the lows and off it went. Canadian dollar is caught in this consolidated area here. It did look like it was going to be a bit weaker and strengthened a bit later. It has double topped on the 4 hourlies, of course, and it's sort of sitting in this area. I did wonder yesterday whether it'd get back towards that 4 hour band there. It's maybe got some potential rolling back towards that 60-minute 200, but I'll be looking at that area. It may well provide a sort of a buy. They may get some buy support from those prior lows that's sitting around there. That's if it gets that far. It's a real mess above there, so the resistance, plenty of resistance areas. So once again, I would be sitting out of the Canadian dollar. That pretty much sums it up there. So let's have a look at the fundamental data coming out today, where we've got the manufacturing production this morning in the UK, important number coming out at 9:30, and then we've got the Canadian and US dollars, US non-farm payrolls coming out, employment reports. Big numbers. We may get a bit of volatility this morning. That may kill some of the things I've just mentioned, or G them on a little bit, but I do expect it to slow down towards that 1:30 stage. Have a great day. I'll speak to you on Monday. Bye for now.